welcome to the Dual Horizons podcast, where we host pioneers in the intersection of technology and wellness. Today, we're thrilled to welcome Tessa from Visualizing 360, a game-changing platform that seamlessly merges technology with personal well-being. Tessa will share exclusive insights into how their groundbreaking virtual reality platform is revolutionizing the realm of mindfulness and peak performance, providing a glimpse into the future of holistic health and personal growth. So with no further ado, hello Tessa, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm great, Wolf. Thanks so much for the introduction and for having me on the podcast.
Sure, absolutely. So let's jump right in and give us a little bit of your background.
Okay. So I always studied biology and neuroscience, and I began managing physician practices in the traditional and integrative medicine spaces. And I was also a patient engagement strategist in a clinical research organization. So just very fascinated with how we can better deliver healthcare and ensure the well-being of our healthcare professionals. And then I became increasingly interested in holistic medicine, which led me down some more non-traditional paths. So I traveled to India studying the inner workings of meditation. I worked with some shamans in South America to better understand plant medicine. And then I became a high performing flow coach. So, really helping executives and entrepreneurs induce flow states and optimize productivity and scale their ventures. And those experiences really led me to realize the extraordinary power of altered states of consciousness and what they can really do for our health and our mindset. And that led me to co-found Visualizing 360 that you introduced, which is really designing radical technology to redefine the way we approach our health and shape our reality.
What was really your inspiration, or give us maybe some deeper insight on the inspiration of founding Visualizing 360?
Yeah, so I co-founded Visualizing 360 with my mom and my sister. So my mom, Susan Santarpia, is a brilliant neuropsychologist, and my sister, Nina Santarpia, is a very dynamic, sustainable energy engineer. And I think it's our diverse scientific backgrounds that make us so well equipped in this space to really bridge the gaps between science and spirituality. And we all really recognize that there's a huge, urgent need to transform the health and wellness landscape, not just for us, but also for the planet at large. And we really knew that we could achieve this through a holistic approach that blends this timeless ancient wisdom with emerging scientific advancements in various fields.
Give us then a little deeper insight on Visualizing 360. What does the platform do, and how do you incorporate that?
Yeah, so currently Visualizing 360 offers quantum wellness coaching, which really helps people achieve higher states of consciousness more frequently and purposefully throughout the day. And we can do this in as little as 6 weeks due to a combined approach of therapy, quantum manifestation, breath work, flow, yoga, meditation, microdosing, and mindful living. So it's a maximizing program that establishes a foundation to expand your sense of potential.
Okay, so, and what are some of the actual aspects? So give us like something where we can maybe feel a little bit what's part of the program. Are there visualization exercises, meditation tracks, live meetings? Give us a little bit of a deeper insight in that.
Yeah, so the way to kind of approach it is I think that when any of us want to make a change or achieve any certain goal, we're actually very programmed to think about who we can be and what we can do based on past experience. So naturally, then when a setback occurs, we maybe don't observe any immediate progress, we're flooded with these limiting, self-sabotaging beliefs and habits. And this is actually a very basic survival mechanism that keeps us safe and rooted in the familiar and what we're used to. But we start to recognize that all sense of limitation really lives in the mind, and it's stored very deep in our subconscious, which we don't have a lot of access to. So these wellness practices, breath work, meditation, you start learning, you start practicing, and initially you probably won't notice a significant transformation, which unfortunately is when people tend to give up. But with us, you're coached to remain consistent. And then each day you might be, a little less tired, a little less angry. You can stretch a little bit farther, breathe a little deeper. And that really serves to enhance the energy body, which signals to the subconscious mind that you are capable of change. And it's only from that belief that then you can really create and manifest an entirely new reality.
Mhm.
So within our program, we incorporate cognitive behavioral therapy sessions, which cater to the mental body. We also incorporate mindful diet and exercise protocols to cater to the physical body, but we also offer an array of practices that cater to the emotional and energy bodies as well, which I really believe is paramount for next generation healthcare.
I know you're putting a lot of emphasis on the sense of potential. Explain that a little bit, what you mean by that.
Yeah, so it really, I think it's helpful to know that, we are all energetic beings. That's a scientific fact. We produce a measurable electromagnetic field around us at all times. This is something that with equipment can be measured up to 3 feet from the body. So for me, spirituality is recognizing that we are energetic, meaning there's a huge part of us that we don't have to see in order for it to be real. And I think this distinction takes away a lot of the controversial or religious dogma surrounding the term spirituality. So when we say enhance our sense of potential, it's really like tapping into these inner forces that we may not be able to see, but we know are there and we know can help propel us to achieve more mental clarity, more inner peace, and then accomplish feats that we didn't really think were possible because of all the limitations in our minds and maybe in our environment.
Interesting. Right. Because I mean, not everybody is at the same level, at the same point in time of their spiritual journey, and some people might have some negative connotations on some of these things. But understanding there's a scientific aspect behind it, and there are approaches that can help, parallel to your spiritual journey, I guess, is something that I think is important, right?
100%. And like you said, everyone's on a different journey. It's really just figuring out what you need to work through within your own mind and within your own energy. And that journey is so unique to everyone. I was just going to say there's really no one size fits all approach, which is why programs like this have to offer so many different facets. To see what might work for someone is not going to work for someone else. Breath work is not going to work for everyone. So just a program offering breath work may not really target certain people who need more of the logical, analytical side, which is where a lot of the science comes in and things like that.
Right, because I mean, I even had experienced that kind of a concept from my own journey, right? Where, for me, it's not about sitting in a yoga pose and being quiet. For me, it's something I need a guided meditation that is maybe only 15, 20, 30 minutes long. And those are aspects I think that can or should be tailored to everybody's need. And I think it's kind of important to understand that we don't just try to put the round peg in a square hole, right?
Exactly. Exactly. I'm glad you've experienced that too. So you can speak to that a little bit as well.
So, and how does technology play a role in what you do?
So we're developing neurotechnology to biohack the brain so that we can thrive in stress and uncertainty and adversity. And again, it really just goes back to all of those limitations that exist within us in the mind and permeate within the body. Emotions get stored in the body. So we hold a lot of our past fears and mistakes and things like that. So biohacking seems like this really intense, often invasive concept, but really it just means training your biology to work for you instead of against you. So it's as simple as not allowing your mind to run wild with what ifs and what shoulds and just kind of bringing it back to the present moment. So it really serves to be the first of its kind existential software tool that blends this ancient wisdom with emerging science to deliver a more practical way of mastering your energies.
Wow, beautiful. And do you work with individuals or with corporations as well?
Yeah, so we mainly work with individuals, but we do have some customized program for like a business or an entity that just really wants to bring it in with their team. So it can be team based or individual based. And it really serves to incorporate this concept of visualization or mental rehearsal, which, it's a huge thing in neuroscience. It's imagining what achieving your goals would look and feel like in real time. And this has been one of the most popular performance enhancement techniques employed by Olympians and musicians and actors. And now it's, being used by surgeons and all these other elite performers to really drive focus and reduce that self-doubt that comes with any sort of goal achievement or change that we want to make. But we've noticed that it's very hard for people to visualize something that they've never experienced before because the brain and body just want to keep staying rooted in what's familiar. So we, leverage the power of virtual reality technology to kind of overcome some of these barriers. And it's really cool because virtual reality has become so psychologically and perceptually immersive that research shows it tricks the brain into thinking it's a real experience. And from research, we know that when this training is reinforced, the brain will actually begin to change as if the goal has already been achieved, which, enhances your sense of belief, and it reduces those feelings of doubt. And you can actually propel forward, not by fear, but of, a kind of trust and in yourself and in the journey.
Yeah, I'm curious to understand because, I mean, from a visualization perspective, obviously you can close your eyes and through a guided meditation kind of visualize it in your mind. When you're using the external visual input, let's say through a VR environment, how are you controlling or how are you actually presenting the visual content? Because if I want to, let's say, visualize abundance, are you just kind of using general imagery or is this customized per person? I'm kind of curious to kind of go down that path a little bit because, I mean, it's definitely an interesting question, I think.
Yeah, definitely, and a very valid one. So, again, no one size fits all approach for everyone. But when you're designing tech like this, you really want to focus on the universality among all of the people that are going to be experiencing it. And for us, that is feeling. So, with these visualizations, we're trying to evoke certain feelings, whether that's abundance, prosperity, inner peace. And we do that through a combination of guided audio and then visual elements that again enhance this sense of potential. So when you realize that you can go within and kind of make a change internally and that has a measurable impact on your environment, whether it just be that colors are brighter or the environment changes in some way, you then start to signal to the energy body that you made that change. You're no longer very feeling insignificant and kind of stuck in your own feelings. And you realize that by having that feeling, having that starting point, you can then pave the way for you to achieve extraordinary feats. And we've even seen people,
And
that started working with us initially, not even be able to feel that because everything in their environment was just signaling negativity and very anxious, depressed states. And when you just allow someone, you create that space for them to actually just feel what it would be like to be abundant, and you train them to take their mind there, and the body then goes naturally. It's very cool to see how transformative that experience
Mhm.
really can be.
Yeah, I'm curious, I mean, how AI and image or video generation in that sense will play a part of it. Because, I mean, obviously, right now you can take some stock videos and kind of a successful person on a yacht or somebody boarding their own private jet or driving a luxury car. But obviously, it might not directly um, be the visual representation of what that individual is actually kind of really visualizing in their own mind. Versus if we're able to kind of extract their visual idea of, hey, this is how I see myself. I see myself in a beautiful mansion on the top of a hill, that we could then with AI generate, so to speak, at least very closely that kind of imagery and then kind of use it as part of that process. Does that make sense to you, or what do you think?
Yeah, definitely. So right, I think the distinction is that right now where we're at, we're creating this foundation. So it's really a foundation just to get very rooted in yourself and your own power and your ability to kind of create these things. So the scenes are very rooted in mental training in the sense of it's very natural scenes. You're immersed in nature. You're connected to something much larger than you, and you start to build up this experience. And eventually, where we want to take it with our scenes is really having kind of everything that you mentioned, but also very distinct and very personalized to people. So we've already, looked into the process of AI, and that's something that's already being generated pretty quickly, actually. You can create a virtual reality scene with AI with pretty
And
precise design within a matter of, 20 minutes. So that's something that we want to employ to make it more personalized, and people can actually code their own scenes to be more what they actually want to achieve in that moment. We just want to lay the foundation, showing people the science and the wisdom that you can go there. And then we're moving towards, now that you know you can go there, here's what you can do with that.
Right, right. Interesting, interesting. Awesome. Well, beautiful. How do people find out? Give us your website and your contact details, how the people can find you.
Yeah, so our website is www.visualizein360.com. You can email me at Tessa, Tessa, at visualizein360.com as well. And we'd love to hear
Awesome,
from
awesome.
you. If you're looking to, coaching or trying out the tech or just in the collaborative space, we're always looking to collaborate.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your beautiful insights. And do you have any closing words for us?
Just that, I think we're really witnessing the start of a paradigm shift in healthcare and in life. And eventually, there's really not going to be this reactive kind of sick care system that addresses problems only once they've manifested into these, ailments. We're going to start to have these preventative wellness systems that really cater simultaneously to the physical and mental and emotional and energetic dimensions of a human way before symptoms ever have to arise. And I don't really see this shift as being siloed into healthcare. I see it penetrating, education and offices, because well-being really does correlate to everything else. So I just, really excited about raising awareness of how important catering to our energy, body, and well-being really is, just for all other dimensions of health.
Awesome. Awesome, Tessa. Thank you so much. And we'll meet up soon again. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thanks, Wolves.